future, and I took my chances.
There's Phoebe Snow and her daughter Valerie. So, in place 34, we have the American singer and, in some senses, songwriter Phoebe Snow. It took some time before I learned the name of Phoebe Snow, since I heard her voice for the first time way back in the mid-80s. And it was when I bought a nice price pressing of the Paul Simon album Still Crazy after all those years. That didn't contain any information about the different musicians that played on the album. It was only when I, a couple of years later, read a book about Simon and Garfunkel when I learned the name of the guest singer on the quick gospel-sounding number, Gone at Last. Phoebe Snow. I was truly amazed by the sheer energy that she presented in that number, where she really stole the show. Remember, this was way before internet, so I had no idea what she looked like. But I imagined a tall and big black singer, but I was very, very wrong indeed. When old episodes of the American show Saturday Night Live was aired in Sweden in the 1980s, I got to see her perform there. And I saw a short, unassuming white woman with dark curly hair and big glasses. Not at all what I expected. Anyway, I started looking for her albums, but it wasn't at all easy. I mean, maybe it took 6 or 7 years for me to find a Phoebe Snow album, and that was the album she released in the late 80s, Something New. I think we would have reached the late 1990s before I started to get hold of her 1970s releases, and to this date I have not found all her albums. Phoebe Snow has a very strong and rhythmical voice that worked well in melancholic ballads and funky numbers. She was about to have her great breakthrough in the mid-70s when this album was issued, when she got pregnant and gave birth to her daughter Valerie. Alas, her daughter was born with severe brain damage, and Phoebe Snow decided to not institutionalize her daughter, but to take care of her in her home. But that, of course, wasn't that good for Phoebe Snow's career, since it was impossible for Phoebe Snow to be out on tour all the time. So, even if she made some more really great albums, her career didn't really take off after that. Valerie died in 2007, and sadly enough, a couple of years later, Phoebe Snow passed away after suffering a cerebral hemorrhage. Yeah. Sad ending of a very musical life.